Come on, BTC. Come on, BTC.
and this is another Simple Signal stream. Oof, okay, I'm very excited for this stream. Okay, there's been a lot of things going on. Some things, you know, I've been accurate on some things, majority of things anyway. You know, I'm normally mostly always right, and I'm quite excited to get into it. I'm just precursing. I'm just excited. Okay, I'm just expressing my excitement for this stream. So hopefully everyone else is excited as well. Welcome to all of you to the stream. Check the descriptions out for wherever you're watching. Check them out. There's useful links down there. Just have a read. Okay. There's always something nice down there. So hello to everybody here. Say hello in the chat. I'm reading the chat. And if you have any coins you want me to cover, I will be looking at them throughout the stream. Obviously, if there's like 20 coins, I'm not going to be able to cover every single one. But I will try to cover as many as I can. If you do have a suggestion, so do put it in the comments. Put it a couple of times as well to make sure I see it. I will say if I see a coin in the chat, I will say it out loud that I have acknowledged that coin is there. So thank you all for joining, and yeah, just bear that in mind. So I think that's it for the intro. I think we'll just get into it. I mean, I don't think there's any time to waste. I think we should just get into the stream. So typical, as every stream, we like to look at CoinMarketCap, just see what prices we are right now, see what percentages we're moving, see what's going on in the crypto market in general. So Bitcoin is 67,000. I think we've fallen a bit. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked at charts. I normally look at the charts, like for me personally, unless I'm trading occasionally on some days. It's for me when I look at crypto, it's normally on the times I stream. So I'm not out the loop, but I haven't actually looked at the price action since last stream pretty much. So yeah, I'm interested to see what's going on with Bitcoin. Solana, $199. We're fighting at 200. I said we would do this. Some people stated we were going to surge above 200 and carry on going. I stated my dismay to that idea. I said I don't think we can go that high above 200. Seeing as though we've been, we'll get into it. I'm not going to explain it right now. We're going to get into it when we look at the chart. But yeah, I thought that this would happen, and it did happen. So you can thank me later. Ethereum at 3,494. Again, I say this every stream. I know what? I'm like a stop record. I always say I forget what. I forgot what I did last stream. It's gonna be like Dora the Explorer. We're all gonna have to go through it together because I can't remember what's going on. But it's true. I can't remember what I did for Ethereum. I can't remember what the charts was. But we seem pretty far down. 13.4% down 7 day. So we're pretty down. I think I remember we were 4,000 at one point, but I haven't actually looked at the charts since. So I don't know what we've moved, but we have moved down. That's all I know. I think that's it in terms of the main coins. I normally look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. I think as well, additionally for me, I want to look at Book of Meme, I believe it's called. Obviously, Mike's done the the review side of things, so it is now my turn to look at the charts. I don't know how long. I don't think. Obviously, go check the video out. It's a very good video. Just search Crypto Warehouse on your whatever internet browser of your choice, and you'll find us. Just go and check us out. Check the video. If you do watch it, it was a great review. So I don't know if there's too much data to look at, but I will be looking at the charts, and I will be looking at Jupiter as well because it has gone pretty crazy. But again, if you have any coins you want me to cover, put it in the chat and I will cover it. But yeah, I mean, again, last thing to cover. So I'm going to check the chat as well, actually. I've been reading it. So hello to everybody saying hello. Thank you all for joining. Ruben, hello. Yes. How have you been? How have you been? Hope you're doing well. I'm going to look at. Wait, no, I normally do it this way, actually. Here it is. Yeah, I would expect so. It is the running joke. The running joke of me as a whole. To be fair, I've done this for months and months and months now. Looking at Thorchain. If Thorchain is generally down, then the market has been down. And you don't listen to this. It's obviously fake. But yeah, we're clearly pretty much down on Thorchain. So this would happen. I knew this happened. Thorchain is my. I have a love-hate relationship with Thorchain. It's a bit. I hated it at one point because I kept on seeing it every single time, looking at all the coins. Kept on looking at it, kept on seeing it. I was annoyed of reading it out. But I like to look at it, see how it's doing. But anyway, let's move on to the actual charts, which is why everyone's here. Solana moving, we grooving. Yes, it's been pretty rapid. I mean, last time I talked about it, we were going up pretty crazy, and last time I spoke on stream about Solana, we did what I said we would. I know I'm great. Just stop spamming in the chat. I know I'm great. Okay, you definitely flood the chat with how great I am. But I did think I don't say it's like on in the blue paper airplane area or online anywhere, but I did say because Mike was saying, oh yeah, we're gonna go fast 200, we're gonna rock it up. Yeah, I've got all this bullish momentum. No, I didn't think we were gonna do that, and we haven't actually done that. So anyway, Bitcoin. So we are using previous lines. I don't know where we are. It's very messy, this chart. So I think we're gonna have to bear with this right now. Okay, there we go. So when was the last time I read? Let's figure that out first. So Monday is today. It would be Wednesday. Okay, it was Wednesday. It was about here. So I covered it here. So I didn't take into account that it was the midpoint, even though I drew it. Okay. Even though I drew it. Okay. I don't want to hear it in the chat. Oh my God, you didn't get it. You look at him. You got the chart wrong. You said to go down here. No. I drew the midpoint on the chart, but it was a general movement downwards. And I said it when I was live. I said we do have a midpoint here, which we have already used, which we might use as support. But it's better in mind. But anyway, regardless, you can never be always right. If I was always right, then there would be I would take away every single viewer from all other crypto streamers. I wouldn't want to be right 100 million% of the time and never be wrong a single bit, regardless of what I'm being wrong about. Because if I was right every single time down to the T, no matter what I talked about, there would actually be no other viewers for everybody else, and it would all just be coming to me. So the reason I said down here than there was out of the kindness of my soul for the other people, so that I'm not right. So I'd have to embarrass them because I'm so right. But anyway, let's continue. I don't want to do it anymore. There we go. I'm scrolling. Hold on. There we go. So anyway, yeah. So we were using this line, which we did, and then we couldn't break anything, which I don't think is a surprise. We didn't quite reach our 74.4, which is going to be huge resistance. So I hope everyone is aware of that. Like I said, we couldn't break above these price points. We were kind of trailing upwards, and then we kind of just fell. I mean, what it kind of looked like to me, if I think back to if we draw, it's kind of looking. Now again. The one issue I have with chart patterns is the naming conventions, because I've forgotten the name of this. I think it's a pennant. It was a bull pennant, which took us down to our order block. However, we were feeling extra bullish that day on Thursday, so we actually decided to come down. Now. Okay, what do I always talk about with order blocks and breaker blocks? It might be a bit boring for everybody to hear this. This was, I've already talked about this. Ignore this. This was, I already explained how this was external movement, aka it ignored all realm of chart following. So yeah, I'll just bear that in mind. But anyway, in this case, this wasn't ignoring the realm of anything. We came down to a previous support point, or it obviously was resistance, was support. So we're now in this range, but we bounced off it and then came back up into our order block. Now, interestingly, if you think back to all the times I've talked about order blocks and breaker blocks, what can we remember? Well, we remember that when we have quick movement, which brings us below our order block, we come back round, whether it be we bounce or just quickly come back into the order block. When we come back into the order block, normally to the midpoint, obviously it doesn't have to be to the midpoint, but when we come back into the order block, when we come in, we confirm that it's a breaker block, and then we surge absolutely all the way down. And what's happened? Obviously, this is an extreme. This is an extreme circumstance, but we did. We surged all the way downwards, confirming that our order block is now a breaker block. Interesting as well, we had a fair value gap here formed in this movement, which we actually entered to the midpoint, which is what should normally happen with a fair value gap. Came to the midpoint and then we came down, but I'm getting too ahead of myself here. But I will leave this up. I'm gonna delete it for now because it's kind of in the way. But anyway, so we entered back into our order block and then came all the way back down. So this is now confirmed as where is it? Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not either. There it is. Yeah, so now it's a bearish breaker block. So now we're going to use it as resistance. So just bear that in mind. We're now using this as resistance. So that's just all in all. It's just a new resistance point for Bitcoin. Alongside all these other resistance points, which is kindly drawn by some significance, which, if you would like to come get it, will be in the description. Check out the blue paper plane area. It is one of our areas, wink wink. Come ask me in there and I'll give it to you. I should probably just post it in the description, but I haven't. That was a beautiful segue, I know. I've got some new source in terms of the EMAs, but obviously I'm not can't give all my source away, otherwise, it's like KFC and the batter for the KFC. Okay, I can't, you know, they don't give that away. There's some people who think they know what it is, but can't give it away. But anyway, one flow is good for Bitcoin. Well, the money flow. Oh, money flow. Yeah. Oh, money flow. I think you're talking about one flow. I think you're talking about money flow. We will get onto market cipher in a minute after I've explained the history of Bitcoin from what it seems like after talking about it for so long throughout this entire thing. So we use this. We now have it as a breaker box. We use it as resistance. I will check money flow out in a minute. We then obviously, you know, came down below again, hugely bearish, to another support point which I already drawn. Used its support, bounced, and then we kind of just followed the flow of our money flow of our EMA. Sorry, the lowest point we saw was 64.5 down here, which was pretty crazy. This was a order block as well, which we did use as we dipped into it and used its support. We had a bit of a rough situation over here, but all in all, we kind of basically used it as support anyway. And now we are above this 66.8 point as support, and we're hovering. But we're kind of caught in a mousetrap here because we are stuck in between this high point and this support point, which I hate doing. I hate doing charts like this. I hate looking at charts when we have this sort of situation because it leads to chaotic movement. Because, you know, I don't think we're gonna go. Okay, let's list off some things here. So what have we got on the upper end? We've obviously got this resistance point above us, which is, you know, keeping us down. Okay, cool. EMAs, you know, going to keep, and we are great EMAs. So the bearish EMAs, you know, we're going to stay below these. And then obviously we've got resistance at 68.9 and 68 or 69.2 all the way up here, which we've already drawn ages ago anyway. But we did use, I'm going to read out some significance support and resistance anyway. So 68.95, 69 is currently basically our resistance on the upper end. But bearing in mind support, we've got 66.3 and 66.1, 66.3, 66.6 and 66.7 or 66.8, and then obviously we've got 2% padding, which we're currently using at 67. So we've got all this. We've got a lot of support. So I'm just going to draw a general square. Look, we've got all this as support. This kind of area. We've got multiple lines of support. So if I kind of like demonstrate this with different colors, we kind of got this point we're currently at, this point, and then our 2% padding on both sides. So we've kind of got 5 areas where we can kind of keep support. Obviously, some being better than others, but all in all, being support below us. So we've got a lot of support. So I'm not worried in terms of the downside for Bitcoin. So I just want to bear that in mind. Importantly, we are very oversold as per momentum, our momentum wave is showing us. VOP is slowly been coming upwards and is nearly crossing the positive, which is, you know, bullish, but again, we're on the 1 hour right now, so it's not very, you know, it's not very important. If we're on the 5 minute, you know, it would be very important, or more important than it is for the money flow, which is unfortunately negative and coming downwards. So this is bearish. So this is kind of keeping us, I mean, this is kind of our trend anyway. So it makes sense that this is kind of our trend. You know, money flow when it's coming downwards and is red. Money flow is kind of our trend indication. So our VWAP is per candle basis of what's going on. Obviously, you can have dips, and so obviously, if I went onto a shorter time frame, you'll be able to see this a bit easier. But since we're generally coming upwards, our candles are kind of, you know, being green. Obviously, we've got green, red, but this is us bouncing. So if I was on the 4 hour, you'd see the same thing, but probably, you know, mostly kind of green and printing out. But, you know, it is positive, so we're seeing, you know, majoritively positive. But again, we've got this support point, and we've got this resistance point really close to us. We can't actually move. But, you know, VOP's kind of per candle basis of what's going on. Momentum is generally like the movement we're currently in this kind of small situation. So since the start of our momentum crossing, so between this period, we've been going down straight away. So that makes sense. But as we're starting to, you know, kind of bounce and come upwards, our momentum is also starting to bounce and come upwards. But money flow is kind of our general trend. And you can see our general trend over this has been, since the start, about over here, it's been pretty much negative. So yeah, money flow negative and is red, so quite bearish. But it's basically, I talk about this often when we have, you know, nearly bullish momentum and bullish VWAP, but a negative and a bearish money flow. It is kind of the situation you see when you're in a crab situation, when, you know, when money flow is coming down and it's keeping us down, but other things are starting to point upwards. It's kind of this situation where you're crabbing or you've been crabbing and you're kind of staying and stuck in a position. But then as soon as money flow starts to arc upwards, which, as I always also talk about, I say this as well, I've said this a couple of times, many other streams, VWAP precedes, I suppose you say, or VWAP comes before momentum, which comes before the money flow. So as you can see, I can probably draw this here. Let me get the pen actually, that'll probably be easier. So we can see here, VWAP starts to come positive, around here and starts to continue to come upwards. Money flow or momentum is now starting to come, starting to arc upwards, but our money flow is still coming downwards. So I'm gonna circle each point. So we're starting to come upwards now. I don't know what I just did there. We're starting to come upwards now. We're starting to arc upwards. VWAP was already coming upwards back here, so you could expect, money flow to start coming upwards maybe over here. But as long as everything starts to come upwards, they kind of go in order. So the VWAP starts to come upwards before anything else. Then as long as that's continuing to go upwards, momentum starts to come upwards, and then as these things start to move, money flow eventually, if we, have this kind of dip, money flow will start to come up as well and be bullish, and then, kind of bring us above hopefully this resistance point. But yeah, that's kind of, how I use market cipher anyway. But kind of boiling that down and bringing it back into the question, I think, as we're still here, very soon I think we're going to start to come back upwards, because, if you kind of you see, okay, we've had this here, came down, this here, probably staying, like I said. So if I drew it more accurately, it's kind of like this. We've had this arcing here and now coming upwards, probably another situation or another same thing where we come down and then come upwards again. But I think all we're waiting on is if bottoms, yeah, exactly. I think we're bottomed. I think we're just waiting for momentum or money flow to come upwards and bring us above this resistance point, bringing us to the next resistance point being, 69 basically up here. So I think very soon we're going to start to come upwards. Could be a good long. This could be a good long for Bitcoin. I definitely actually think, I don't think we're going to come down anymore. Even if we did, obviously you'd have to be careful of what position your stop loss or liquidation point if you want it to be stop loss or liquidate or whatever. But I think I'd probably be a bit conservative on it. I'm trying to see where's a good position. I mean, because as I'm looking, I'm kind of seeing this here, being as resistance, but it didn't really apply over here. So it doesn't really seem like it's actually valid. But this is the thing, we wicked up to here, but I'm going to do it to where we print it out, because this is kind of more important. So, you could have a 2 risk reward ratio if you wanted. This is a good padding, because you've already got a 2% here, which we're using as support, the actual support point, and then this lower point, and you've got the order block down here. So you've got a lot of support points. So if it came to here, obviously it's not, very good. But, on the upper end, you got a 2.3% move, the 2.37 move upwards. So, you can do a 10x. Obviously, Bitcoin, you need to do higher multiplications. You can do like a 10x, 15x, if you're feeling fancy, 20x, whatever you wanted to do. It's not my judgment or anything to say what you should do in terms of your multiplication on a Bitcoin long. But, that could be a decent profit. Nearly 50%. That's pretty good. But I do think, obviously, it'll take a while to do this, a couple hours. To actually move upwards and maybe come upwards to this position up here for take profit. So the take profit would be, I reckon, 68,695. But yeah, anyway, I think I'll quickly look at 4 hour actually, because I haven't really looked at 4 hour too much. Money flow is really not very good. Okay, this is actually not good. Again, like I said, I think we have bottomed out, but probably using this support still. As we have already done twice, 3 times nearly. We've got money flow coming downwards, VWAP is coming downwards, momentum is coming downwards. So this is very negative. So again, like I said, in order to come upwards, as I was saying with my pen example, I still think we have, crab. So as I said, when we have like 1 or 2 more, maybe 3 more, where we had this movement and then we bouncing, I drew. Obviously, we still could have more movement like that. And to back that up, obviously the 4 hour, it was still quite bearish right now on the 4 hour. So yeah, I mean, we could be also in downtrend. So obviously it's good to look at higher time frames. BNB, yeah, I'll look at BNB. Obviously, good to look at the high time frames. I'm trying to see if it could be in a trend. Oh, this is a chart, isn't it? I don't know what it's called though. Someone can help me here. I know you can. I know someone did this last time. It was the same chart and everything. You know what? Let me look it up on my browser here. Let me find it. I'm gonna find it. I know what this is called. Well, I don't, but I know. Yeah, there it is. Bullish expanding triangle. Okay, here we go. Boom. Bullish expanding triangle. So, this bullish expanding that was bad. Okay, let me try that again. Bullish expanding triangle states that you have this situation, and then you bounce like this, and then you like, is it 3 times? I know it doesn't really matter if it's 3 times, but basically at some point you come upwards, which is bullish. Yeah, we've got a bullish chart pattern, which is good. Obviously, I don't think it matters if you bounce 3 times or not. I'm not too sure. Actually, I don't really know about that, actually. I don't know if that's like law or not, but regardless. I don't know if that's a rule, if you have to bounce 3 times in a chart pattern, but anyway, this is the chart pattern. When you have this expanding triangle. I don't really care to look at chart patterns too often, but I saw it anyway. I knew it was a chart pattern, which I've already seen before. But that could be bullish. Well, this is bullish if it is true. But I'm going to delete it though. But do the bear that in mind. I might redraw it. I might end up redrawing it next stream if it does play. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So yeah, like I said, so that was bullish. If it does play, I have deleted it for now. But we're quite bearish on. We are oversold. We are quite bearish on market cipher, and money flow's coming down, which is more important than anything else. Money flow's coming down. So I do think we do have some more movement downwards, or staying downwards anyway. Maybe even to this bottom point. Obviously, like I said, looking retrospectively back at time point, or looking at forward time points like 4 hour and higher time frames is always good. Like I said, so it's probably important. It's probably I'm thinking as I'm speaking, so I'm messing up my words, but it's probably not right now the best time. Obviously, I know you said do the trade right now live, but I probably want to get into it when it was actually happening. I think, like I said, I think what's going to happen is it's going to stay down here for a bit and then come back upwards. So yeah, and to back that up, the money flow, and momentum and view up on market cipher on the higher time frame is saying that we don't have too much higher movement right now for Bitcoin. So we could, I think, I don't think we're going to come all the way down to our order block. That's one thing I know for certain. Or I don't think I know for certain. But one thing I am confident on is that I think we're going to use 66,650, 667 as support, which would coincide with what our EMA is roughly telling us. If we start to come down, EMA will come down as well and probably meet this support point. So I think 66.67 is a good support point. But like I said, I think we'll hover here. And if we translate that to the 1 hour over the 4 hour, it would be in between this range, which we've already seen. Obviously, we do have this support point here, which is closer in. But I think we do crab here a bit longer, and then I would think come upwards, because 1 hour is starting to come bullish. The higher time frames become bullish faster. So I think if 1 hour becomes bullish and stays bullish, it will translate to the 4 hour and the high time frames, and it will start to come upwards. But I don't think we have too much movement downwards. Even if we did, I think maximum we'll see is 66.6 for downwards movement on Bitcoin. But I do think we should come upwards at some point soon for Bitcoin. So Ethereum, will Ethereum go up to 4K? Well, I'm going to look at Ethereum actually right now. And someone just said ETH, E5 price prediction. Oh, is it just live today? Right, okay. I'm not going to look. If it's just live today, I'm not going to look at the chart. There's going to be no charts to look at. But yeah, this is short-term play. Exactly, yeah. That's why I always hate looking at doing TA and drawing live on these types of charts when we're in this crab situation, because I think we're pretty much aware of what's going on. As long as we, my conclusion then summed it up. The 1 hour will start to look bullish as long as we keep that bullish, kind of image on the 1 hour. It will translate to the 4 hour and will start to come up again. But we're pretty much at the bottom of where I can see right now. Unless something bad happens and we come below, or always bear that in mind, something bad can always happen. Especially of recent, we've had like 2 or 3 of these situations where we've just wicked. I came all the way down like 10%, 15%. and then come all the way back up. So you just have to bear that in mind. It's not a non-zero chance that something like that can happen. But in terms of if it follows ceteris paribus, all things being equal, I think that's how you say it. I think we should stay here and then come upwards. So soon, I think we should come upwards. But if it was me, I wouldn't. I mean, I normally trade PIFE based on Bitcoin because, in my personal experience, there's some source here. Okay, this is some free source. In my opinion, and from what I've analysed, and I've traded PIFE, quite a couple of times now and been profitable pretty much every time. It follows the Bitcoin action very accurately. Obviously, it doesn't do it one-to-one because it is its own coin. But for the time being, it has followed Bitcoin pretty accurately. So what I've done is I've done TA on Bitcoin and then gone over to PIFE and traded on there for higher returns. And it's always pretty much worked for me. Not financial advice. So yeah, small correction. What is that for this right now? Yeah, I mean, exactly. Quick correction, come down. I think eventually we'll come back upwards. Like you said, yeah, small correction. Especially on the 4 hour, which is smaller. It's kind of been, boom, come down. And now we're hovering a bit, and then we'll probably come back upwards again. Wait, hold on. What's this? Am I seeing something here? What's that? Is that head and shoulders? Or am I wrong? I don't really do sharp patterns too often, like I said. Is that head and shoulders? It's not really head and shoulders. It's kind of like diagonal head and shoulders. Maybe. Again, another bullish thing there. I think there's actually a head and shoulder thing on TradingView. There is. Okay, this is good. Hold on. Wait, do you have to do it like this? Is this going to be accurate? I don't know. Actually, no, this could work. This could be head and shoulders. Hold on. Wait, we might be cooking here. Okay, we might come upwards. Okay, 67.7. All right. And then we're going to come upwards. Okay, so we've got expanding triangle malarkey, and then we've got head and shoulders. Wow. So the gimmicky chart. Obviously, no. Again, remember stop loss? Exactly, yeah. Remember stop loss. Kishan, he couldn't say anything more true. Stop losses. So, I mean, to be fair, I don't always follow that advice. I do preach it, and you're supposed to practice what you preach. But sometimes I don't put stop losses in. I know, it's wrong, but for me, when I do a trade, I want to be, exactly. Sometimes things go wrong. Things will go wrong. You're never going to be 100% profitable. If you're getting into trading, be prepared to lose. Okay, especially at the start as well. Obviously, if you're a veteran trader, I think you probably say it in the chat. If you are, you've at least lost a couple times, whether it be stupid mistakes or just general things happened. Stop loss has already been there to help you. But for me anyway, when I do a trade, it's like if I lose, it was my fault. Obviously, it can be random wicks, which is fine. But if I lose, it's on my back. So sometimes I don't put stop losses because I'm aware that I'm getting to a trade before it's supposed to really happen. That I know it's going to come down and then come upwards again. So I leave the stop loss. So it depends on when you're getting into the trade. If you're aware that you're crabbing, maybe put a loose stop loss. But yeah. I think we go back to around 60k, maybe low before we go. Oof. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe you've seen some secrecy stuff which I haven't seen yet. I don't know about that. Actually, well, okay. Let's entertain it. Not financial advice. Yeah, let's entertain this idea. I think we go back to around 60k. Okay, I'm not saying this. Everyone in all chats everywhere. I'm not saying this. This is a comment. I think we go back around 60k, maybe lower before we go back up. Let's have a look at that. 60k is this here? Okay, so let's have a look. All right, could we see this? Well, obviously, we've got this support point right down here, which we're bouncing off anyway. So we've got 61. Okay, so 61 is currently a support point. So even if we rocked all the way down below all these support positions we have right now, we would get 61k. I pretty confidently. We've already used 65.1 as common support, even recently. Back then we used it support, and even recently we used it support. So going down below it, I'm not too sure about that. We have an order block which I've drawn, which we've used as support previously. We have this line we're currently at as support. We're already above an EMA. I don't know. Okay, 6k isn't even a big dip. It's 10%. I mean 10%. 10%. I mean, I mean, I'm not to judge anybody else's opinions. Okay, I'm not here to, this is my TA. I draw my charts. Okay, so Nothing else to say there. Okay, it could always happen. You never know. Things can happen. But anyway, I'm going to move on to Ethereum now, though, because I've been yapping on about Bitcoin for way too long. So let's see now. So we need to do the same situation again, or the same method. We have to go back all the way to previously where I drew charts and figure out what was happening. So Wednesday. So this was okay. Let's go on the 1 hour, which is one I drew charts. Okay, so what happened? Okay, so we did use this bottom line support, which I did, also as resistance, which I thought we could do. I thought we were going to come above it, but unfortunately we didn't. We've had a lot of red and blues. Wait, what? No, red and greens. This is not good. I don't like looking at this. These red dots, green dots, quick red dots and green dots. Never nice to see this. But anyway, I'm going to delete this really swiftly. So we did use it as resistance, but we came below actually, which probably lines up with everything else as, you know, let's go to our chart of where we previously drew. Wednesday. Yeah, we did the same thing, and then we hit off this highest point we see, and then we came all the way back down. So as Bitcoin did this, everything else did that. So, you know, it was in the understanding anyway that we were going to go towards our high point for Bitcoin anyway. So it makes sense that we bounced off a lower price point and then came all the way down. And we came down a ridiculous amount of percentage, and then obviously everything kind of followed suit there. So we did come down using, you know, all of our lines and whatnot as supports and resistances. But we've actually come down to our breakup block, which we are holding strong. People are very emotional to when it's starting to go down. People panic. Yeah. I mean, that's why you get 39 to 40k resistance easily, because it's just like, oh my god, we're going from 39. You know, you're changing a 10,000 mark if you're going from 30 to 39. Obviously, in this case, 3,000, 4,000, you're changing a 1,000 number point. It's like, oh my god, we're going from 39.9 to 4,000. This is huge. And then people are like, oh my god, this is huge. And the unfortunate thing is, a lot of things with trading, when you look at charts, and if it's an indicator or if it's an understanding of something like emotional price points, is self-fulfilling prophecies. When if you and everyone else has the understanding of something happening, everyone front runs the idea that they know everyone else is going to have, so they do it anyway. So it happens because people think it's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's like, it isn't numerically supposed to happen. But again, trading, and economics, and obviously this isn't economics, but you know what I mean? Like numbers and money and kind of economic situations, that, it's related to people, and people are random, and it is psychological. People don't always act in the best, acts, or regard for themselves. You should always act in maximum marginal utility, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it is. But, from what I'm saying is, people are people. They are different. They act in certain ways, whether it be completely accurate or not, whether it be for a proper cause, which is actually substantial, like a number or like a formula or whatnot, or if it's just off their personal opinion or their ideologies. It's just going to happen because people. And when you're dealing with people like you are at trading, things will happen like that, where people are, oh my god, I'm worrying, and people just sell out really quickly, and the price might cascade, especially if it's a coin which can be easily influenced, because if it's smaller or not, people all start to worry. You'll just get these big sell-offs, and then more sell-offs lead to more sell-offs, and then the price will crash. But anyway, I'm going to stop now. Let's get on to this. So yeah, so we are using our breaker block as support. Obviously, we quickly wicked down. This was when we wicked. This is similar with Bitcoin, where we wicked down to a really low point and then came all the way back up. It was a quick wick, but Ethereum followed kind of like that, but we came all the way back up anyway because we were so low. So we are using our breaker block as support. I know I'm good. I know. But anyway, so we're using it as support. Where we are right now at 3,500. Considering how low we are, we've been going down, pretty much going down since Wednesday, since I last looked at it. So we are actually completely oversold. This is good, actually. I'm seeing very positive news for Ethereum on the 1 hour. We are, our momentum has crossed. We now have bullish momentum. We have a neutral money flow, aka we should start to see it arc upwards, hopefully arc upwards and come towards a higher point. and VWAP is positive and going upwards. So that is, as long as everything starts to continue to do that, which it looks like it will do, we will have, bullish movement for Ethereum and continue to come upwards. So I think if I kind of draw how I see it, if you kind of translate all this data into action, we came down, bounced off breaker block, came down crazily, came up, bounced, obviously whatever bounce, came down, and then we bounced off our breaker block, and we should in theory now just start to come upwards. This blue line, it was good, but I'm probably going to remove it now. So I think for Ethereum, we should start to see ourselves come towards 3,600 at least. Obviously, not crazy, super awesome movement. But again, as I said with Bitcoin, we are crabbing. But what, if you remember what I said, I think we're going to go up to, was it 20, what did I say? 2.37, I think I said we'll go up. Or well, what do I think, based on what we have? Well, 2.58. So basically, this roughly the same movement. Obviously, with less barriers in the way. But it looks like Ethereum and Bitcoin are, they're looking like they're starting to do the same thing. If you know what I mean, like it looks like they're supposed to be doing the same thing, where we're arcing up, we're bouncing off this low point, which we've already used previously, and we're coming upwards to this high point. Bitcoin in the same situation. We were down here for a bit, and now we're going to come upwards the same percentage. So it's good to see that we're kind of staying true to what the other coins are doing, like Bitcoin. So that's good. In terms of anything higher, we've used this. It looks like strong resistance. We did use its support back here, and then we obviously broke below. Well, obviously, you're never going to just break below a support point and then never go back above it. So we tested again with Ethereum to stay above, but we just fell all the way back down again. So this is probably be a strong resistance point. So similar with how Bitcoin is, I think we'll have a similar situation with, they're both going up a similar percentage, probably going up 2.5, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Probably having a bit of a move down, maybe to the midpoint, which I was going to mention. From this support point, in theory, that's the wrong thing. The midpoint in between these two areas being this. There we go. So as the price will come upwards, this is the midpoint. So we definitely bear in mind we could hit off the midpoint there. So we could hit off the midpoint, which would coincide with what our EMA is telling us, that we will probably arc and stay here. So be careful of that. We could hit off the midpoint and not stay there, which could happen with Bitcoin, which I didn't draw. Midpoints have mattered. As I stated at the start of the stream, when we looked at when we were at the highest point for Bitcoin, we hit off the midpoint, which I mentioned in the stream. So I do want to preface it. We could hit off the midpoint between the bottom of this and here. Obviously, if we did it from the bottom of the order block, which we're using as support from down here, this could be our midpoint here, and our midpoint would actually be, if I zoom in, there we go. It looks like this midpoint wasn't really. We kind of used it here, but I'm going to bring it back to roughly where we were. It was about here, I think. So yeah, just bear in mind, bearing in mind the midpoint. Bollinger's midline is serving as resistance as of now. What for Ethereum? If it is, yeah, I mean, like I said, we've got our money flow it is neutral. We haven't started to come upwards. Like I said, earlier in the stream, the VWAP moves before as long as the VWAP continues, like we see this. I'll just draw it again to show you what I'm talking about. The VWAP started to move back upwards, back here, and then from that point onwards, obviously the candle after it, we can see that our momentum starts to look like it's starting to cross. As soon as our VWAP continues, it prints a candle out to start to come upwards. So as long as the VWAP continues to be bullish, the momentum will start to come upwards, and obviously now has already crossed. Now, as long as the momentum continues to come upwards, the money flow will start to come upwards as well. Eventually, it takes a while. So, like I said, the VWAP, it goes before the momentum, which goes before the money flow. So as long as we continue to have, positive momentum in market cipher, the money flow will start to come upwards as well, which will then mean everything is kind of converging upwards and being bullish, which is a similar situation which we're seeing with Bitcoin as well. Ethereum will make a bounce dump at 3770 Bitcoin. Let's have a look. So 3770. Where are my price points? So obviously, I think we're gonna have resistance here. Obviously, this is the 1 hour, so bear that in mind. This is. I look at the 1 hour. I look at the 4 hour. Obviously, the 1 hour is something quick, accurate, to act on right now over the next couple hours, whatever. But I do think 36 will be resistance. 37.7. Well, 37.4 was my previous resistance point, so I could definitely see that being true. But 36.7, I have that as well. So yeah, I think just above resistance levels. Yeah, so so 37.7. Well, for mine it's like 37.5. So basically the same point. So yeah, 37.7. I agree with that. Obviously, some significance. It is a dynamic support and resistance drawing indicator, I suppose you can call it, which is courtesy of moi, of Crypto Warehouse. It is our own indicator. If you do want to go check it out, check the description. Go to the TG and come ask me. I'll give it to you. I'll probably put it in the description, but I haven't. But yeah, so 30. These are just dynamically drawn, which I already have drawn out. But yeah, my personal already drawn out support and resistance is kind of 37.5, 37.7. Yes, I agree with that resistance point. Obviously, we do have other resistance points before then, but if we're looking at the 4 hour, yeah, there we go. So it was a quick movement down, where you've had, boom, probably a boom, and then maybe a come upwards, which is what I was talking about. Obviously, this is the 4 hour. We have, obviously 1 hours in a 4 hour. I don't think that's smoke. I don't think I'm teaching everyone anything new there. But throughout the 1 hours, we'll probably have resistance and then come upwards. So, as I said, the 1 hour will have these resistance points, but on the 4 hour, we should have a general nice movement upwards. We are coming downwards for momentum. Money flow is coming downwards, but like I said, with Bitcoin, if you have a bullish sentiment on market cipher on the 1 hour, let's say, it takes us a arbitrary, I don't know how long it takes. It takes some arbitrary amount of time before that translates onto the 4 hour. But the lower time frames, if they continue to be bullish, will translate onto the higher time frame. You can think of it like that way. So as we see that the 1 hour, the only thing left was for the money flow to start to come upwards. But as long as we continue to be bullish on the 1 hour, the 4 hour will start to come down. So we can already see kind of traces of that. If you look, our VOP is now starting to come upwards. So we're already seeing like the little seeds of bullish movement in market cipher. So, obviously momentum's coming downwards, we're negative. Money's coming downwards, we're negative. This is very bad. Oh my God, what's going on? But the VWAP is starting to come upwards. So it's a slight, a crack in the shell of the bird before it, breaks out. I don't know. I'm trying to think of analogies, some random analogies as I go. But, the VWAP is starting to come upwards. It is a nice little hint towards us that we're starting to come upwards. So, yeah. I think we have bullish movement. Again, I like what I'm liking to see is what I'm saying about Bitcoin and Ethereum is very similar with each other. See, I saw how Bitcoin dubbed at 377. Yeah, I said that in the earlier part. 34.4 was that kind of area was, as Mike is saying now in the chat, top of a bull pennant. We really, I drew that before. I drew that before I saw anyone else draw it, and then he drew it. Okay, so I'm gonna take this as credit. I'm just gonna say that there. But yeah, so within that area was general resistance. Obviously, we touched. We kind of front ran that kind of area, and they were dumped. So yeah, we did dump really easily there. I thought solid breaching 204 resistance that stream. Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I said this. So I said this not on stream. I said this at the start of this stream. That I said not on this stream. What am I saying? Hold on. I said this at the start of the stream that not on stream. Me and Mike was talking about Solana, and I said he was saying, oh yeah, we're gonna go to 200. And we're gonna we get people. I think I don't know if it's Mike or people in general. I think I saw some people talk about that we were going to hit 200 and we had so much bullish movement that we're going to continue to go above it, which I mean, as soon as I heard that, I was like, this is false, which we're going to go into right now actually, because I've finished with this. That we've been going up the entire time. We couldn't possibly go up, and obviously we hit 208, Well, for me, 200 was a point. Obviously, it was a bit above that. I didn't actually do support this high because, like I said, I only really do. We're too high above any points which I could have drawn about because, back here Wednesday, I forgot the 1 hour, you can see it a bit better. I was doing TA back here. Obviously, the price was way too far ahead. I didn't draw any TA, but this is what I drew anyway. Back here, I'd 160, I'd 173 as resistance we did use, and now using the support. Obviously, per some significance, 176, and that area is now support. But if we go up, the question is, can we see anything else? Well, I'm kind of seeing something here. Kind of roughly equal candles. It could not work. It could maybe not work. We've got kind of roughly equal candles there, and maybe here as well as supporting areas for Solana. But yeah, if I quickly delete that, I don't like this one. I kind of like this one because it does match up. We have already used it as support and bounce, so we do have this. It's not going to be a really huge support point for Solana, but it is a temporary and has been used support point for Solana. So this kind of 195, kind of 194, nearly 194 and a half point for Solana here. But yeah, we've got EMAs, which we're kind of using pretty strongly. Obviously, this purple EMA, my personal EMA, which I love to use, which I'm not going to say. Following it pretty accurately. We're not, it hasn't gone grey, so we're not bullish. We're not bearish below it, so we could come above it, but we're kind of just steadily moving upwards. But like you guys have been saying, we're quite far away from a actual constantly determined support point. For me, obviously, it's 176. My actual withdrawn one was 173. But yeah, we've got these other points down here. So 146.7 was my previous longer term support resistance point for Solana. But I'm not going to look at that right now because we're on the 1 hour. So I'm going to zoom in a bit. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of just arcing upwards. We are in between these two. These two down here are kind of longer term EMAs. While you have S2 at 143. Yeah. I know there's a huge conversation. Oh, there's a huge conversation going on. Okay, right. This is you two. Yeah, you guys have your conversation. Okay, I'm gonna carry on with Solana. But anyway, yeah. So we've got these longer term EMAs here. Obviously, EMAs. I'm not saying there's some magical, indicator which are gonna, just give you all this money. But I do like to look at the EMAs. They don't have to respect it too often, but they are good. I like looking at EMAs. But we do have this support point, like I was saying, which we have already used here. At 195, 196 here. I don't see us. I mean, 200 is huge here. Let me draw 200 actually. 200. It's different intervals above 200. That's the thing. I could probably draw each level here actually if I do this. So we can see, it's kind of working here. Here, bouncing off it here, using its support down here. So I'm probably going to actually keep this up. I like having this up. When you know a previous resistance point and looking really close to a support point, you can kind of draw this at these levels. But it looks like we're kind of maybe coming up towards 200. I think 200 is definitely just going to be where we're seeing ourselves hover at because we've already bounced off it twice here. 200, we just need to stay above 200 and just print above 200 a couple of times. It's going to be disastrous if we came all the way down to 176. Not disastrous, but it's going to be a huge fall to come all the way down to 176. It would hurt, it's not out the realm of possibility, but I'm not going to say it. But 11 point, nearly a 12% move down on it. I mean, there's many points below where we are right now to keep us up below these points. So, on the 1 hour, I don't see it happen really crazy. But yeah, like I said, we do have these fib levels as different areas of either support or resistance, which we have for Solana, and we are staying above this 199.4 for Solana. But again, like I said, 200 is just going to be where we're going to see difficulty. We just need to print within probably 5 minutes. Actually, you can see we just need to print above the 200 mark a couple times over before we start to use it properly. But quickly looking at market cipher, we are oversold. and we're starting. Obviously, we're pretty much at at support point here. Yeah, what's nice to see, obviously, money flow, momentum is coming downwards. Money flow is coming downwards, but the seeds of positivity, VWAP has been coming up over a longer period of time. So if I draw my circles quickly, you know what, I could probably draw. There's probably arbitrary for it between, period of when that happens, period of when this happens, and period of when this happens. So I'm gonna look into the future now and guess when money flow is gonna start to come upwards. So actually, to be fair, I think you could see it within the next print, which might be around here. Actually, no, it'll be here. And then let's count 3 and do it here. Okay, I'm guessing. This is complete guess. I have no idea. This is literally just complete, theory craft here. So this point here, this candle, was when our VWAP started to come upwards. And then I see ourselves have the money momentum become positive this candle. So how many candles is this? Is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. What am I doing? All right, boom, here. Okay, so 2 a.m. is when we're going to see money flow come upwards, and then we're going to go positive. So give it a couple candles, and we'll see money flow start to come upwards, and everything will be bullish, and we'll continue to go back upwards. Probably seeing resistance at about this level, 204. Seems like we'd use it as resistance here. Obviously, you have to kind of actively be drawing these lines pretty easily, obviously, these fib levels aren't going to be 100% accurate, but you just kind of have to look at price action. And what I can see, it seems like we have pretty consistent, resistance here at nearly 204 mark. But yeah, so that's kind of what I see right now. I think we're soon to see bullish movement in general for Mark Cipher, which will bring us upwards, closing in towards the 210 mark. But for me, I drew this ages ago. I can't remember when I drew this, but I drew this ages ago. The midpoint, all the blocks normally are the midpoint. So 223 is where I have this midpoint for this. I believe it's an order block. It's quite wide though. I'll zoom out on the 4 hour. You can see it a bit better. I can't remember when I drew this. I think I drew this quite a while ago. But yeah, so I can see that here. About 223 is the midpoint for Solana, so we could see some resistance here, maybe 216. But obviously, we need to get past this 210 mark first before we see anything. But I think I'm going to conclude that with we're like I said, we're soon to see bullish movement or bullish sentiment on Mark Cipher. So kind of suggest us to bring us upwards. So as long as we print above 200 and stay above it to see our bullish movement outwards, we'll probably continue to go upwards, towards 204 and whatnot. But I'm going to go to 4 hour quickly just to see what's going on. So, okay, now this is where things get interesting. So as I was saying with the 1 hour, 1 hour is a short. It's not a short time, but it's short time. I see some people saying hello in the chat. Hello, welcome to the stream. But like I was saying, with 1 hour, it's more of a short term. Like this will happen over a couple of hours, where I can see ourselves, bounce off this 204 mark and then come down. But 4 hours, obviously, where the longer term action takes place, and we can see momentum negative. We're coming down pretty heavily, and it was above the 60 mark. So this is, we were overbought. We're overbought. We should be coming down right now. So we should start to come downwards. Money flow is now starting to come downwards. The opposite coming downwards, and it's negative. So generally just bearish. So coming downward, we should see move downwards over the next 4 hours. So as I was saying, over the next 3 hours, or however many candles I had, probably kind of staying above a bit, but on the 4 hour, which is more in general, we should see, from what I can see right now, we're starting to see move. We should see moving downwards. This is what Marcus was telling me in terms of where we could go to. Obviously, I have my support point here, 195. But in terms of a wider area, we've kind of got equal candles here, being 184 as support. Obviously, our previous points, 173, and then coming all the way down. If we come down all the way to 146 or whatever, it's possible. But we do have a lot of other points here. I do actually like 184 pretty. Well, I do really like this as a support point. here, which actually the top point of it coincides with this fib level down here, which is interesting. So, well, I'm actually I see a lot of comments. Actually, I'm gonna start reading some of these. Sony's a strong pullback, and then we'll go to I think we're gonna have a pullback soon, especially with what I can see on the 4 hour. We should have a pullback. I think it'll be a pullback to 180, 184, 186. I think this will be good. Worst case, maybe 173. Will we come down to 146? I mean, it's quite far away considering how high we are. I mean, it could be again, if we had a huge move downwards all the way down to 146, it would probably reciprocate. Like, if you pull a balloon down in water, it will just shoot all the way back upwards. You're not saying that's exactly how Solana is right now, but in terms of the movement, if we had that rapid move downwards, ignoring all other support points, we'd probably ignore it again on the upper side. Obviously, probably seeing resistance on the short time frames as we move, but I think this is quite a nice support point at 186. But the previous one, which has already been used as resistance anyway, which will be used as probably support, 173 is a pretty good, which is actually also nearly where this next other point is for the fib levels, which is again interesting. So after 224 sideways and then new all-time high. I agree with that. I mean, my order block I have here, and the midpoint is about 223.5, nearly 224. So probably I see resistance there easily. I definitely see resistance there. No materials is between 224 and 259 for Sol. I have to look back. I don't have that. 230 is the only other support-ish point I have there, but above this 223.5, I don't have anything else drawn, to be fair. So indicators are lagging. I know. I mean, the only ones I really use, the one I pay attention to the most is when I draw consistent price points for support and resistance. I know Mark Cipher and whatnot will be a lagging indicator. I mean, that's why I don't have 5 indicators and looking at that. I normally kind of bring it down to Market Cipher and maybe EMAs. I don't really look at EMAs too much, but I normally only have one thing which is lagging, which is Mark Cipher. But I know. Stronger to pull back, stronger to look up. As I was saying, if we came down to 146 and ignored all other support points, coming all the way back up wouldn't be too hard. So stronger to pull back. I agree with that. But again, I'm gonna move on from now from Solana. So we've looked at the main coins. Like I said, so to recap what I said for Solana, on the 1 hour, I think we might come back upwards to maybe if we stay above 200, which we've already printed out and looks like we're doing. Oh, see, would you look at that? We're continuing to be bullish, and wait, money flow's also been bullish as well. So I think we might come back upwards to maybe 203 on the 1 hour, but on the 4 hour, we will probably have a move down to about 100. We'll probably see some sort of support 195.88. But the strongest support point I have, longer area, is 183, 184, 186. This kind of area of support. Moving on now. We can see on the 4 hour we're continuing our bullish on the market cipher. So we're continuing to be bullish on the 4 hour, bearish. Slips up. Continuing to be bearish on the 4 hour, and continuing to be bullish on the 1 hour. I do see a slight bit moving upwards, not anything crazy. Like I said, maybe towards 203 mark. We're already nearly at 202 mark right now. I think moving upwards to 203, 204, and then coming down on the 4 hour, or paying attention to the 4 hour. I'm now going to look at, I think JUP. I will quickly look at JUP. Quickly look at JUP. And then move on to, I think it was BNB. What am I looking at? I think I'm looking at BNB. And what else am I looking at? I don't know if there's anything else. I don't know. I know I'm looking at BNB. So I know. Anyway, so Jupiter. Let's have a look. So this is we'll go on the 1 hour quickly, and then go to the 4 hour. So what can we see? So we're using our EMA as support. This is interesting. Okay, so we're very close. Okay. Wow. Mark Cipher is very interesting. 143. Oh, not 143. 143 cent if you were to talk about it in cents, but $1.43. Very interesting. You know, it's been very crazy. This price movement has been absolutely mental of recent. But regardless, we've had some negative movement for our money flow, but it's staying arcs now. It may be possibly, if you'd maybe construed it right, is actually a positive moving upwards money flow. VWAP is coming upwards, and it looks like our momentum is starting to arc. But you know, we were heavily overbought above here, and then you obviously came down. But now we're not really overbought. We're very close to our neutral line right now. And you know, even if we're at our neutral line and we continue to go downwards, I could see negative movement because we wouldn't be oversold, and we could go upwards again, and it could be, you know, positive movement because we are neutral. You know, at the end of the day, if we're neutral, both directions of movement are very possible. But from what I can see, and what we've had consistently, you know, we've kind of been using this area, which we're basically at right now, as resistance. It's been pretty consistent. Obviously, came up to here to test, and obviously came right back down. But you know, like I said, we're using our EMA support. But I think what could happen, it's not. I'm trying to think. You know, it's not. We don't have we've already had our negative movement in terms of what's it called? We've already had our huge negative movement in terms of our money flow and our momentum. But we are basically at our resistance right now. We're at our resistance point. So slipping below EMA and probably coming to support wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for me. Because, you know, what's the name for it? The VWAP. I'm trying to think of it. I'm trying to look for example. VWAPs can easily just like here, for example, like, you know, the VWAP came positive and then came all the way back down again rapidly. So it's coming up slowly, but the VWAP can just bounce off the neutral mark and, you know, it can go negative again. You know, momentum continues to go downwards, and, you know, money flow can come downwards. Things can just change on this, if I'm looking at market cipher anyway, quite rapidly. And we're already at our resistance point anyway, basically hugging it. So I think, you know, maybe coming down. I don't think we're gonna break up. But I mean, again, we do have to bear in mind. You know, exactly. You know what's going on with Bitcoin, what's going on with Ethereum, Solana. Solana, we do have, you know, some future bear, from what it looks like, very bearish, you know, graph movement. But in terms of, you know, Ethereum and Bitcoin, which are kind of like, you know, big ones, it's quite, you know, it's not, you know, hugely 10% positive, but it's positive. You know, it's like 2.3% up. It's generally upwards. And again, we've had a huge drawbacks on these coins, which will then start to bring us upwards. And I think we were bullish on the 4 hour as well. So these coins, you know, quite bullish. So, you know, just to bear that in mind, it's you know, it's not like JUP isn't just completely ignore what the market's doing. And if the market's going upwards, we do have to bear that in mind. So, you know, we could see, if VWAP continues to go upwards, you know, momentum starts to cross, and we're not oversold or not overbought by any means. We could continue to go back upwards. Momentum could, money flow. Where is it? There we go. You know, it's starting to come upwards. We could see continual movement upwards. Money flow could maybe go above this, but I don't know. I mean, we're basically hugging it. We've used it as resistance so much, but again, you know, after hitting a wall so many times, it'll start to get weaker and weaker. But you know, I suppose we'll see. But I'm going to scroll again to the comments. There we go. What's this? As for JUP or some else stream, I called for 0.6 JUP. Let me see. I've got 0.555 or 0.56 as support. So 0.6. Yeah, I mean, I can see that, especially with the high points of these lines down here, and definitely the low points. You know, we can see we use it as support, you know, pretty consistently. Yeah, 6 could be pretty good. Obviously, we do have the higher points at 6.3.5 as support as well, or as a support point, which we haven't actually really tested alongside. So 63.5 or 63.5 cent could be another point for Jupiter. But you know, are we actually going to move all the way down there? We've been going up constantly. We do have all these other high points for Jupiter, but again, rapid movements can easily happen. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, especially with what we have for our money flow. It's again, I don't like doing charts like this when it's in this sort of situation. Obviously, you can't just ignore a chart based on what's going on. But when we're hugging our resistance point, and you know, indicators, you know, market kind of telling us, okay, we could be going up right now. It's hard to say if we're just going to quickly just have a quick movement upwards above in terms of our candle and staying above there. But we could come down to our support point and staying in this range as we have been kind of doing previous kind of like days, the past like 3 days maybe. But yeah, my favorite points are 0.435. They're not flip level. I'll build JUP position between a vegetable top. Oh, and this thing. Yeah, I know what you mean. That's what this like this. Yeah, where did it take us there? About 90 cent. I think it's about 90 cent. If you know, obviously that's happen. But I suppose, you know, is there any other points you could argue? Well, you know, we have been using this here. Obviously, we've kind of ignored it on both ends, so I wouldn't want to, you know, pay too much attention to it. But we have been, you know, kind of staying in between here. But we came down and then used this. So this isn't actually. I'm not going to draw this. Oops. I'm not going to draw this because it's not like we've came up from it and used it as that. Even if we did use it as you know, like a pennant, it's not really that high. It would probably only take us to about if it was like here, let's say, it'd probably take us to our previous support point, about $1.15. But again, like I said, we've got so much. We've got so many support points. Even if we did, you know, if it was this like double top situation, it would only, from what it had on the chart, you know, 90 cent would be where it would take us to. And we do have many other support points below where we are right now before we reach these price points. So, so yeah, that's what I think for JUP. But again, you know, we're now 12 minutes into the stream. I have absolutely I've talked so much about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, you know, we're now 20 minutes into hour and 12 minutes into the stream, and I need to look at BNB, so I'm not gonna look too much at JUP. I kind of just want to quick look up of JUP. I just wanted a quick update, just to see what's going on with it. Yeah, just see what the price. I mean, I know it's been crazy, but I haven't actually drawn charts on it since you know, the actual price movement of it. But I was supposed to look at, you know, Binance or BNB, sorry. So, you know, we're here now. I guess we'll look. So, what can we see? So, money flow go up, VWAP go up, and it's positive, and momentum is coming upwards below the 69. So that is quite bullish. That's pretty good, and we are at a support point. So we're generally bullish. You know, everything's kind of coming upwards. We are at, there it is. You know, we've been sitting within our range, probably maybe coming upwards now for this, but you know, obviously you've got to bear in mind midpoints of these ranges you could be in. I'm actually going to use this top point actually, because we've been using it pretty consistently. There we go. So yeah, you'll always have to bear in mind the midpoints, but over the general area, we can see, you know, kind of bouncing in this range, obviously using the bottom point. But we've used the midpoint. We've actually used this resistance point pretty commonly. So obviously, again, if we think back, you know, Bitcoin has been pretty bullish. Ethereum's been pretty bullish. Obviously, Solana's kind of being pretty negative right now. But these two coins being pretty bullish. You know, it's genuinely on the big coins being pretty bullish. So we could see some bullishment for Binance Coin or BNB. Obviously, coinciding with what's going on with Market Cipher, it looks pretty bullish on the 1 hour. It looks very bullish. So on the 4 hour, let's have a quick look. Is it bullish? Is it bearish? Let's see. Damn, that's really okay. Really, obviously, really strong resistance there, which we've already using now. Money flow has been steadily coming downwards, but VWAP is now starting to come upwards. And if we look at our momentum, it is nearly crossing the 60 mark. Basically, meaning we're quite oversold right now for BNB, probably coming upwards. But again, we are at a support point for Binance or BNB. So I could see moving upwards at some point, especially if VWAP continues to come upwards. And considering how it's been a bit choppy, it's been very choppy. But considering how close we are to being, you know, like over the brink, oversold, and considering what everything else has been doing with you know, like 2.3% movements upwards for Ethereum and Bitcoin, those are generally bullish as well. I could see BNB have a move upwards. I could definitely see move upwards for BNB. So again, 1 hour is bullish, and the 4 hour looks like to be bullish pretty soon. So I think we should start to see BNB start to come upwards probably. In my opinion, not financial advice, but I don't mind. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Obviously, going an hour and 16, going pretty strong. But you know, thank you to everyone's comments, especially Asia X. Thank you for speaking so much, and thank you for giving your 2 cents on the coins. But again, like I said, I needed to move on from those ones. But no, I agree with JUP in terms of it being tied. In terms of their similarity in their exhaustion, I agree. I said the same thing with Sol when I did draw it on the previous stream as well. When I said we've been going up for so long now, in my opinion, like it should be time to come down now. Obviously, you can't go up forever, especially if you have big surges upwards. You should see movement downwards to test support. Obviously, Mike always uses the analogy of ladders and whatnot. You have to test the ring below you to make sure it's your support. But I agree in terms of like they've been going up, they're rapidly going up for so long. I can't remember what the highest point was, like $100 or $1. Problem is, whenever I move from one coin to another and have different significant points and whatnot, I always it's confusing myself. But yeah, we've been going off crazy and bouncing off these high numbers. It's probably time for a drawback, especially if you look on the wider frames. But it just depends on how far we're going to go. But there's so many other support points below where we are right now, so I can see ourselves having a drawback. Absolutely. I don't know. I do see the 60 cent support points and the 63.5 support points, but there's like $1.15 as a support point. $1 is going to be huge support as well because obviously emotional numbers. I think there's a lot of other support points to go to. I definitely think we're going to come down. We're going to have to test our low points at some point on the higher time frames. We're definitely going to have to test our low points. But yeah, no, but I agree with pretty much the majority of what you said. Absolutely. It's the first time I'm talking here. Love your streams. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try to be accurate. Obviously, you can never be, as much as I joke, and to everyone who listens to when I say I'm the best I know, it's a joke. It's the character. It's a caricature. I'm the oracle. It's a joke. Obviously, I'm never. No one's ever going to be 100% right. Obviously, you can be overwhelmingly right, but I'm never going to be 100% right. But like I said, you can be right most of the time. And the majority of what I say is normally right. And my trades, I'm majoritively green rather than red. But things can act a bit like I said of this. We might not go to this high point. We might bounce off this and then come down for whatever reason it might be. So there are varying factors like midpoints and whatnot where we could just in the moment as it decides it be, use it as resistance and come down. So things can just happen. Things again, we've seen it recently with how Bitcoin's been moving. Things can happen, especially with the places we've wicked down to, the hells we've seen with Bitcoin. Things can happen. So no one's ever going to be 100% right. And if someone does say that and they're not joking, got to take it with a pinch of salt. Again, and with whatever you watch, if the person you always watch doesn't say this, I'll say it for them. None of this is financial advice, okay? If you watch someone do charts, you can have faith in them, but you should always make sure you're trading based on your own judgment and your own, if you do TA, own your own TA and whatnot. But if you want any of the indicators which I've used on stream today, come message me in the, I think I can talk about it, TG. I should probably put the links in the description, but I haven't. But yeah, come join us on the TG. That's where we talk. That's where we are. So if you've got any questions or you want me to screenshot any charts, I will do it. Absolutely. But yeah. Marcus Spez, nobody's from goes from exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah. As long as you have a general idea of what's going on. I mean, like I said, you just need to give yourself the best bet. You need to be aware, whatever you do is never going to be 100% accurate. But what I like to think about is if you look at things, whether it be an indicator or methodologies of looking at charts, if you try and use the things the majority of people use or the big people use, smart money, big people are using, then not in terms of the self-fulfilling prophecy, but in terms of, it kind of becomes true if everyone sees the same thing. If everyone reads the same thing on the news every day, whether it be true or not, it will become true because everyone thinks it and everyone will say it and no one can argue with it. So obviously it's not that extreme in trading. Not every single person in the entire world uses Market Cipher, let's say, but I just try and I like to be simple but effective in the way I try and think about stuff. Always never got all in, always build percent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, never go all in. I agree with that. I mean, like I said earlier in the stream, in some trades I'm better than others. Sometimes I'll put stuff. Sometimes I'm aware of the fact that I'm getting into a trade, maybe at the wrong time, but it'll turn out good. Sometimes I won't put a stop loss, and I'm aware that we're not quite at the exact movement of our trend yet. But I know there's gonna be a reversal or whatnot. And if I put a really loose stop loss or no stop loss, eventually we'll dip down and come upwards, and it'll work. But yeah, so it depends on it all just depends on how you want to trade. Obviously, it's advisable to never, you need to see what's going on. Things can just wick, but you need to build up. As I said, you need to build up. Again, if you put all in one go, because even if you're losing a bit, but you are basically right. If you put more into the trade, obviously, this is why we're saying with building. Like, if you've entered a trade and then we start, like with Bitcoin, the same. I had the same situation actually. I longed, and then we came down to a different support point. But if you put more into the trade, it will move your loss. Obviously, you'll still lose a bit, but as it'll go up, you'll still be in profit. So you can add more to your trade as it's active and still be profitable. So yeah, if you go all in and lose it all, then it's quite hard to adjust it. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Sharp ratio, yeah, I like to do high ratios, risk adjusted. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not afraid of using this. I try and keep it. I like keeping a high risk reward ratio. You don't want to do a useless trade, but I like two risk reward ratio is good. So if you think where we wicked down to previously, where's been support, down here for example, this was a previous 536.5 for example, 1.77. It's not bad. I like to do like a two risk reward ratios. It's preferable, but you have to stack your odds. Most important part, you have to stack your odds. You have to. For me anyway, when I look at charts, it's kind of like a robot. It's like is this going up? Is this going up? Is this going up? Are we at support point? Are we at resistance point? You need to make a checklist in your head of what you like to cover. Because my kind of my methodology might not work for you, but you kind of have to build your own strategy and then checklist it. But yeah, anyways, I've talked on for way too long. So thank you all so much for joining. Thank you everyone for commenting, and I'll just see you in the next stream. So goodbye.
Come on, BTC. Come on, BTC. Come on, BTC.